down the map and looking for some survivors. I mean, we are in bat form, so of course we don't see them, but I'm gonna expect them to change soon. Yeah, we see him in wolf form looking for those scent orbs. And this is a good place to look for the survivors because this is of course where they spawn. Maybe checking the edge of 7, maybe looking around this area water tower. Don't see anybody yet. They're doing a good job of either rotating up fast or stealthing at the bottom, and we'll have to see which one that is. But is
Or
there
they're
anybody
all
to
having a
check?
party in the basement. Hear me out.
I have seen it happen before, to be fair.
I mean, it's definitely a method of dealing with the corrupt, right? But no, Kobje has been able to find someone over at this Ormond tile, likely going to be swapping back into wolf form. Tries to get hit around the corner, going to be a miss. So it's a Taku who has the ability to make some more distance over towards the shack. Uses a firecracker just to make some distance, but still eats a relatively early hit. And it looks like this could be a pretty short chase.
Ooh, almost, except
Maybe
he
if
didn't
maybe
hit
if the
that
hellfire hit.
second hellfire, unfortunately for Kobje. But I mean, Jake's still kind of zoned towards the shack area. We know that that other pallet was still standing. Maybe he's trying to head over to it. He is, but I don't think he even makes it, especially with wolf form, the added speed from wolf form, and that is going to be Jake. A taco going down right on a scourge hook, very conveniently. And we did see a gen pop that was a doubled generator, so since a pain risk token was used, that was a solo on someone else. Yeah, this gen here I think got pain risk. Somebody stopped the regression on it, but that means we can use our kick perks. That's Call of Brine Eruption coming out on this gen here, and we are in pursuit of the main building, but probably teleporting back to the hook now because that was a very fast pull.
Yeah, Call of Brine's recently been kind of re-entering the meta a little bit, which has been quite fun to see. So obviously with Eruption as well. Eruption's always going to be a staple, but you pair those two up, it's going to be pretty good. Ataku's taken off the hook, which means that Atako is now Kobje's #1 target and goes down really, really quickly again. And here's the issue. Wait, can we get the flashlight save? No way! Okay, we're not even 5 minutes into the match, and we are actually just styling on Kobje. There was no need for all that. And now Moon's in a perfect position to body block as well. Have hit a nasty hellfire. Oh my god, it's a double hit.
That is what happens when you body block against the Dracula's Hellfire. Kobje not able to get through that doorway, but most likely very hot in pursuit. I think he's going to go back for the pickup now. But yeah, we saw Jake go down at that lightning tile. That's what I've been calling it. I don't know what the actual name for it is. The lightning tile over at 8, and he is going to be going right back on that hook, the exact same hook at the bottom side. And yeah, those Call of Brine notifications giving us some good info. Of course, we would have probably known that this was the gen they were working on anyways, as it was being worked on earlier. But I mean, just to confirm, and we are going to be chasing once again in main building. Using Lapis to block that window, and Lara Croft kind of in danger now of taking a hit. Do we hit the Hellfire? No, they dodge. We have to go back.
Yeah, and we're actually going to see a For the People play come out immediately just to delay this tunnel out as much as possible. The team are like very much playing around Ataku right now, so they're playing around the tunnel out, which is, you know, spectacular. The problem is, at the end of the day, Ataku just needs to survive in these chases, and that hasn't really happened at the level that you've been enjoying recently. Now you're also forced to take the chase over to the generator, which is about to be completed. You go down on the pallet, going to trigger the eruption, and you know Dub gets injured, so it's not like a pallet save can really come out safely. I think there's been maybe sort of a lapse in communication from the Sirenia survivors there.
Yeah, the problem with stealthing for that save there is that that was the gen that was being worked on, so Kobje knows there's somebody there looking for the pull. Sprint Burst is allowed in the set, but Dub did not have the Sprint Burst perk, so was not able to lurk very closely. And we are entering the 3v1 injured, however, Moon does get healed up. It's kind of rough to be in a 3v1 at the beginning of the 3v1 with everyone injured, and yes, we did get 1 reset, but 2 people still injured. I mean, if you find someone here, this would be kind of a rough mid game. But it looks like the survivors doing a good job of keeping their distance. We see Dub using their balance landing to get away from that main building, and Fell getting healed up as well. I believe that was clean break. And another lightning tile over here. Kind of unfortunate, as this is not the best tile against Dracula into a 4 lane. So Dub
Yeah,
goes down.
and then the wolf jump scare just to cap everything off. Yeah, I mean, good fundamentals to be putting Dub on the main building. You always put your balanced landing survivor there so they can make themselves a hasty exit, but unfortunately Kobje gets an even hastier kill, and now we're looking at realistically, like, what is the best that the Sirenia survivors can do right now? Obviously, it was good pointing out, yeah, they all entered the 3v1 injured, but they also finished it with relatively lackluster gen progress, to be honest. Like, only like 2 generators done was not spectacular in the slightest. We get another double hit with the Hellfire. We're more than happy to just put Moon on the hook. Another Scourge hook, so 3 regression, I guess. And now we can go and find Dub if we want, or we can try and maybe stick to these gens a bit closely, try and secure a 4K3 with that extra regression on your side.
This gen still has not popped. This was the second highest progress gen at the beginning of the game, and still, that second win coming through on Moon. I have to correct myself, by the way. That was not clean break from earlier. That was the excess for the people, and Phil just got healed up fast afterwards. But we do see Dub heading towards the shack. We know there is no shack pallet here. We know the Dracula has Lapis, so that window will not. Oh, that window will be blocked and not accessible. But Dub manages to get through it. Anyways, yeah, Moon healthy from the second wind there, and Dub will be going down edge map most likely, the very corner of the map. Kind of a push and pull game here, Hector.
It is absolutely not in doubt that Kobje is going to get the 4K, right? I feel like this is known, and actually I believe that gen has actually hit its max regression limits, so there's not much that Kobje can really do to stop it from getting done. However, you of course have to, you have to think, well, the 4K is going to come out. Is it going to be 4K2, 4K3? Is there a world in which the survivors can maybe crank out 2 more generators? It's very unlikely, but what I'm imagining here is Fel's currently in chase. Moon is going to go to pick up Dub on the edge map. And nice dodge coming out from Fel there. But then you have to think about what happens to that most progress generator. Surely it's got to be done. He's been on it with the Hellfire shots, maybe not with the dog dashes. Giving the dog a concussion, not generally the way to go, but that's quite alright. Another spectacular dodge from Fel, who's doing a lot of work at just this regular old filler.
Yeah, Fel with the pixel perfect dodge, and Moon also pops a gen while the teammate is on the floor, I might add. Kind of choosing to get that extra gen popped because... I mean, he's doing a great job of dodging out these Hellfires, to be fair, but we do like, get an M1. I mean, yeah, we're gonna have to leave because of that, though. Yeah, Fel did a great job there. Wow.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that Fel had that dog in him, but like apparently so. And now we're gonna find Dub once more, who did get picked up from the edge map after Moon decided to complete that generator, and we actually dodge out with the balanced landing. And we dodge out the dashes as well. Hang on a minute, because now you get to this pallet relatively safely. Of course, the pallet itself, maybe not the safest thing in the game, but you're right for the time being. Well,
yeah, we see so much progress, by the way, Hector. Look at all this progress on the main building. This is not our balanced landing survivor, though. It is our sprint person. They almost have our exhaustion back, but I don't think it will be used quite yet. Moon might want to 99 it, and we do see them leaving to go up the map, down the map, and seeing, yeah, there's an ace over here, and he was trying to pick up our survivor, but we are going to be getting the pickup. I mean, this could really go either way. Can they get another gen popped, I wonder, or is this going to be a 4K2?
It depends where the survivors are. I think Moon and Fel would kind of have to be doubling the main building gen to get it completed in time. And yeah, as you said earlier, your balanced landing survivor is currently lying on a meat hook, bleeding to death, eventually going to get saved, but means that Moon had to exit really early there, was not able to progress the gen as much as humanly possible. Now Kobje is back to get the kill onto Dub, and you know, once that kill is secured, then obviously your 4K all but done, and Dub doesn't really have anything to work with. You're not going to be able to make it back over to the shack, so you do just run into the edge of the map. Eruption procs as well, and Kobje, again, not even going to go for the hook because it's just playing around this most progressed generator, while still keeping an eye on the other one. Good game sense. often when you kind of hyper focus on one gen, it's important to think that, hey, hang on, what if the survivor just was working on another one the entire time? But no, CobJ keeping a good eye out.
A little bit worried that that main building gen was going to pop, which is why we slugged. However, Dub does get picked up by our teammate over here, and we'll just be edge mapping up again. There was a pallet, like edge 6, I want to say, behind Shack. One of those rare, newer edge map pallets, but Dub does not choose to use it. Is going to go down. We are going to be taking the kill now. No pop, no painters available on our dead survivor here, but I think CobJ might be confident that the eruption was enough to stall the main building gen for now. I think they definitely want to get a 4K too. If the gen doesn't pop before we get there, that is very possible. This is the one chance the survivors have to pop it. Because popping gens in a 2v1, a very difficult task, especially with one of the survivors injured and painters available on Fell as well.
Oh, and the call of Brian again.
Yeah, they're splitting these two gens, bottom and top, which might mean they get another gen done just because both of the gens are super high on progress, but it really depends on how long Fell can last here. He has life, so he makes a bit of distance. Oh no.
CobJ doesn't get the orb, so isn't going to have that extra speed, so just kind of needs to land these pounces, but gets completely bamboozled by Fell. And now I think that means the main building generator is going to be completed. You know, you can see all of the Call of Brine notifications going off in the distance. Fell will be going down here. Like, we know that for sure, but also, we saw what Fell was able to do at just a regular-ass filler, right? And now we have, you know, this tile to work with, and the edge map, and bought enough time for not the final gen, but the 4th generator to be popped. And of course, that one generator being the primary win condition to play around, being the main tiebreaker, so to speak, is going to be quite valuable. That being said, Moon is very dead here. CobJ can just cut the map in half, ensure that a fresh unhook doesn't come through, and no more generators can be completed. So, Moon, do you have urban evasion, or like is it just over?
That chase, winning so many 50-50s was so important. Because eruption would have popped on the main gen. We probably would have been able to get a painterist because there was a painterist bottom mid. CobJ, of course, didn't choose to take it because the gen had already popped, but I mean, they got another gen done. This is not the worst result for Dracula on Cold Tower for the survivors, for the killer either. I've seen some 4K3s, I've seen some outs, but I mean, getting a 4K2 is a lot harder result to match or beat than a 4K1, so this is definitely good for the survivors, at least at the good regarding where they were before. And we are kind of looking around for our survivor, for our Claudette. She was at the main building we know earlier, but she had plenty of time to work her way down the map, and we see her now. Yeah, CobJ spots her out over at this pallet, this dropped pallet, and this is going to be the last chase of the game unless she manages to pull something crazy out of her sleeve. But no, that's going to be a hit. She's heading up the map, away from the hatch, away from the hook, and this will be the last chase of the game, Hector.
Yep, that it will. Dash barely going to be missing out, but of course it's all for show right now. I mean, honestly, what I'd say is Sirenia proving that even despite when you have like quite a nasty early game, because yeah, to be honest, their early game was not fantastic, you can still make a recovery. And of course, credit to all the survivors, but especially Full. Not only with that chase, but Dracula himself is still a really good killer, right? And Severus is going to take the time to try and prove that here today.
Yeah, heading up the map, we instantly see scratch marks, by the way. As opposed to our last game, we were kind of looking around a little bit for a minute, and actually choosing to leave those scratch marks, head over to the left side of the map. This is the corrupted area. There's a gen uncorrupted here at 9, and we are going to be heading down the map a little bit. Maybe they rotated. I think Severus might be trying to sniff out that rotation, but does not see anyone quite yet. Yeah, once again a lightning tile. Once again we see nobody in sight for a minute. Those scratch marks at the beginning of the game, long gone. They must have headed down the map by now, but oh, this gen has a bit of progress. We are going to be using Lapis to block that window now, and immediately in chase now on the straight, using our lovely new Halloween outfit. I love that shirt. Torselman taking a hit and heading towards the shack, away from those topside gens.
Oh, and Torsel actually able to make it over to this rock. Severus might be going for a blind shot there, but Torselman, really good instinct to leave the loop entirely. It's solid fundamentals against any killer which has the short range anti-loop, you can do that. But against any killer that can, infinitely block the pallet in back form, you have to play a little more 50-50. And now, here's a decision. Do we go for a basement hook, or do we go for the Scourge hook? Scourge hook going to be the play. I think I'd agree, considering how early this down came out. It was a similar situation to what we saw from CobJ last time, where the first down was the first chase was quick, but the first down itself was pretty average because the survivors did a decent job stealthing, right? But the actual chases themselves, again, both these Dracula players really putting it all on the line here. And no generators have been popped. That was another key difference. CobJ, by the time the first hook came out, we'd seen a generator fly. Severus has been able to get the hook onto Torso Man with the pain resonance and some more. And we're actually just going to eat a BT hit, okay? Severus really, really wants Torso dead. We will see how this goes.
Yeah, we saw Torselman crouching, trying to get maybe an FTP from Ethel, but did not come through. The Dracula was far too close, but Ethel's still healthy. That's going to be a second down, a very quick second down. Ethel is still healthy, so I wonder if they're going to be using for the people off of the next hook. However, with
now
the basement...
Yeah, you've already used the pain res, so... right.
There is... I mean, this is very far away from the generators, though, so a little bit harder to interrupt them, but the generator is more topside. I think they were 3-splitting. I think the reason we saw a gen pop so fast is because they were stacking out that first gen instantly, and 3-splitting now, maybe a little bit more gen progress will happen soon, but we do see a kick onto this generator here at 5, gonna be heading up the map, maybe looking for another kick, another eruption to be applied. And this gen, a tiny bit of progress as well. Yeah, this is Claudette. She rotated onto this generator, and I would expect Ethel might be rotating in for the pull very slowly, unless they want to just let our Dwight die. It's kind of hard to say, because Dracula is a very difficult killer to save from in the basement, but it really depends on how much Severus wants to camp this one.
Quite a lot, to be honest. And I know this is a bold call to make pretty early on, but I'm going to say it. I think Pain are kind of screwed here. This is tieable for these survivors, but like the fact of the matter is the first down is super, super quick, and you're going to have to try and get Torso out of the basement. Even if you're able to get them out the basement, you're not. You're just not. It's that simple. And Torso Man is now completely dead. You're buying a little more time, but also, that let another eruption go off onto one of those topside gens. Plus, there is a world which you lose Ethel here, barely able to dodge out. So, Severus actually going to return to the shack, and that could have been a really dangerous situation for Pain right there. They've actually sent someone for the pick onto Torso Man, but it's not going to be for nothing. Baz better have been grinding out some generators over in the distance, because now we have kind of as you said in the last set, we're going into 3v1 with no survivors injured and still 3 generators to go. Maybe 2 in a couple of seconds, but it's still not looking fantastic.
Yeah, I really hope one of these generators top left pop soon for their sake, because that's kind of a tough 3-gen. We are playing for a 4K1 Tycon, so they could get a tie if they don't pop it, of course, but this is going to be CobJ taking a chase now. He is already injured. He was trying to go for a flashlight save earlier at Shack and did pay the price for it, but does manage to dodge out that wolf form using the pallet very well to avoid that, and gonna just actually leave. I think Severus is a little bit worried about this generator popping, but that gen is 99. Oh my goodness. Maybe not close enough to commit to it if they were injured, but very, very close regardless. And Severus probably wants to just stay in this area and guard it a little bit. That gen at 5, by the way, that never popped. That generator never popped. That was the gen that we saw our first down next to, and it just, I mean, it's still probably regressing or at 0. So a little bit rough for the survivors to not get that gen progress. We do see the heal come through on Ethel. Maybe around this area. I think Severus wants to be looking out for it somewhere in this tile maybe, but we don't manage to find out the reset. So now all 3 remaining survivors, all healthy, all reset. A bit of a better spot than they were before.
Note that all of those chase onto Torso Man happened around the bottom side of the map, so top side's still going to be pretty good here. That does create a bit of a a bit of a problem for the survivors, right? Either they can play topside, but that's within all of the gens, and then getting them done is going to be difficult, but you have a better shot actually surviving in chase, or you go bottom side to draw away from the generator to allow some progress to be made on them, but you're going to go down in about 2 seconds, and oh, barely not able to get the grab there. That's actually going to buy a lot of time for Kopje. With Severus going for that lunge, having to delay, and then wait for it to be finished before getting back into platform, you're going to need a nice Hellfire shot. Kopje barely threads the needle around it, and now Severus again has to have the head on a swivel. Even though you seem to be in a good spot, remember, like, these gens can pop in the blink of an eye. It just takes, you know, a decent chase and a 2-man on any given generator to get them grinded out.
Yeah,
that's really rude.
And a little bit of a Halloween jump scare to the face there with that. I'd say that scared me a tiny bit, a little bit. But we are going to be heading back to this gen that we know was very high progress. It is no longer 4 pistons completely moving. It was very close to 99 earlier, and I think a little bit of progress got knocked off of it there. Just because of the Colubrine, we didn't see eruption or anything like that come through because no down came through, but this is Kopje taking chase. He is already injured, so could be going down here, but the main building, despite Dracula being a very strong killer, the main building is still a very strong area to loop, especially with all the pallets up in this area.
The gens which will get hit with eruption, by the way. Because Kopje will go down in this corner, right? There's nothing to work with. Basically every gen is going to be hit with eruption, but no, never mind, actually dodges out entirely. And now, it was an ace last time who was basically putting the killer's dreams to rest and get to like a 4K2 or 4K3. Kopje not quite able to do the same thing today, but with the down onto Kopje, you can now quite confidently go for Slug and just sort of check around, see who might be there, utilize some of that aura reading from the eruption, not why it's taken, of course, but hey, in a situation like this, might as well take it. Now Baz has to work around this rock near to Shack, but seems like Severus played that one perfectly and is going to get some distance around it. Kopje picked up in the meantime, however, but of course, now there's no survivors on gens. They are all completely accounted for. You get a quick down here, then things are going to be just fine for you, but you go left instead of right, and that could cost you some dear time.
Kopje gets healed up by our survivor Ethel, and we do see Baz actually playing a pretty good chase here, but will go down, drops a firecracker there, does not help them, unfortunately for them. We do get a pain res top mid probably. Yeah, we are going to be going for it. Severus wants that extra aggression because a lot of these gens are so close, like you said. However, with one down on Ace, I believe you mentioned it, just so many of these gens got hit with eruption.
This wasn't the most progressed gen? Seriously?
Yeah, they've been cranking. They've been doing a great job. This is... okay, we are still at 4K3. We saw the first hook stage coming through in the 3v1, but I think it is definitely possible to get 2 more gens cranked out for the tie condition. I would definitely be shocked if they managed to get 3 for the win, but with all of this gen progress across the map, it's possible. It's possible for sure. And we do see Baz coming off of the hook. Now that was Ace, I believe, unhooking them and just going immediately for that injured survivor. Maybe trying to get a second tunnel out, but there's the 3rd gen popping in the trial, and I think now we just have to worry about this gen at 9 because it is getting quite crunchy. A lot of kicks on it. The survivors have been cranking, and that gen does not have too many kicks on it remaining, I don't think.
No, absolutely not. And again, we can't even get the hit round the corner. It was a pallet that was dropped pretty early, and Severus is going to have to leave. And now you're getting a little bit worried, of course. Severus, you're playing for this win. You cannot let a single generator go. And given how strong your early game was, I don't think for Sirenia you'd be happy with a tie here, right? Like, after getting Torso Man out in what felt like the blink of an eye, and the survivors again making a really insane recovery, can't really be doing that. And again, another dodge, even though it only buys about 5 seconds or so. You know, we saw how progressive that gen was earlier, right? 5 seconds can be a very, very long time at this level. And Severus... do you have kicks on that? No, it doesn't seem like it. And Kopje, again, utilizing the sprint burst. It's these damn aces every time who are screwing with our killers.
Yeah, that is going to be an excellent Hellfire. Oh my goodness, on Dekavje. We do see him take an injury and now immediately into bat form at the lighting tile, and he did not take this window. Where did he go? Kind of a bit of a send it around the bottom side of the logs and just straight towards Shack. We have the window here. We have a pallet next to the window, but he did not take that window. It's going to be going down to an M1. There was one more regression event that we saw on that generator, by the way. He didn't kick it, but he did use the eruption for it, just to get the extra bit of regression. And could be a pain rush coming through as well. Yeah, we do have a pain rush here in this tile. This is the gen that popped earlier, but we do still have the hook here. And I mean, still that 3-gen at the top left. That is such a rough 3-gen. And I don't even know if the balanced landing survivor is still alive. We saw the sprint burst coming out though, from our ace. I don't know. This is gonna be a very, very tough ask. But Kobje has second wind off the hook, will be healed, and okay, there is the balanced landing survivor dropping off the main building. We do get a kick, but this gen is so high. If the survivors are super coordinated here, they most definitely can break this gen spread, especially given we have some very good exhaustions left with balanced landing and sprint burst through our Claudette and ace, and so many kicks, so much progress on all of these generators.
Yeah, also Ethel was unaccounted for there, because aside from having to go for the unhook onto Kobje, second wind took care of the reset, so meantime Ethel was able to rotate back over to this area of the map to just try and work on some gens. We're going to see Baz taking the M1, is obviously not ideal, but better to do that than, you know, risk the, you know, immediate 2-tap. You do get slightly caught out this pallet here, but again, the dodges on the Hellfire have been phenomenal. It feels a lot like guesswork a lot of the time, and there's the tie condition that's been met. Now it's the age-old question. Can the Pain survivors somehow, some way, bring this back over to a win? Because they've broken the 3-gen, right? You know, that top left thing, which we were catastrophizing about for so long, has been broken now. And so there is an opportunity to work the gen over in that little corner nearer on the bottom side. Plus, you still have those two top side gens. Of course, main building, the one most progressed, but, you know, no one's dead. And to be honest, no one's close to dead. You don't have anyone dead on hook. Severus might start to be getting a bit leery now.
This is such a good 3v1 by the survivors, by the way. This is excellent play, and Kavche will be going down here. Gonna force locker probably? Yeah, this is a locker force. And that main building gen we saw earlier had so much progress on it. Baz most likely just instantly on it, unless they want to reset first, which also wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay.
Ooh, actually getting inner healing off. Oh, Baz actually wasn't our balanced landing survivor. I thought I didn't hear a drop from them from earlier, but they are our inner healing survivor. Do get the reset off on themselves, and we are going to be just heading back to the top side, choosing to work that generator that wasn't the main gen actually, and kind of just working the top left generator instead. But Severus is in the area, breaking the door for some extra mobility there. And Baz, yeah, we are going to see them pre-running to this Ormond tile, and getting a tag heading towards the main building. Nia most likely rotating now for the pool.
Yeah, Survivor's playing really, really safe right now. Volt is able to come up before Lap is able to block it. We go for another Hellfire shot, but again, this is the fundamentals. You just run away, hold W when that short range anti-loop tries to come out. Again, you are going to be going down the corner, but you have been able to buy some time for a full reset to come out onto Kobje. And now, again, it's a difficult spot for survivors. Remember how before I was emphasizing, oh, well, you know, they're fine. You know, no one's dead on hook. You know, I can't quite say the same anymore. It's a tough life.
Ooh, Nia disturbed a Kuro there. And I think Severus might have known where she was regardless, because that was very close to the generator, but just a little extra information. We are going to be kicking the gen with Columbine and Eruption. Maybe, yeah, committing to the survivor now. This is our last pain risk hook, by the way. She did an excellent job of getting out of that area without being spotted, by the way. He saw some scratch marks. Yeah. Saving their life with the slow vault, kind of using the scratch marks to their advantage there, and I think Severus just has to leave because is there a survivor in this locker? Oh,
wait,
my gosh. Yeah, they were the head-on survivor, but we do get grabbed out of the locker. That's a 2v1. without even taking an injured state, just straight to the dying state. Oh my goodness, that might mean the difference between getting the last gen popped and getting a tie here, Hector. That was I did not expect that. I didn't even know what to comment on that one.
Locker gaming, I guess. You know the bell curve where, you know, on like the middle level, the middle 90%, it's like, why would you get in lockers? That's really stupid. And then you have like the bottom 5% of players, which like, I'm gonna hide in lockers. And top 5% of players like, yes, I'm also going to hide in lockers. I can only assume that, yeah, they were going for a head-on play, but you know, Kill had a bit too much wherewithal about that. Now Ethel has to run for, okay, how much does Cobj's gen have? It's about a third. Okay, maybe 50%. So this has to take more than 40 seconds. You also have to account for the pain res, which doesn't. There was no pain res, or it just didn't go off on this one. There was somehow a more progressed generator. Now Cobj is, how do I put this nicely? Dead. Cobj is dead.
Maybe. Yeah, he's gonna be kicking that generator. I would be surprised if we didn't hear that drop sound. Is in bat form, maybe trying to sniff out the ace here, but he's doing a great job of just stealthing out by the main building, walking around the edge backside of one side of main, and yeah, Severus now just doesn't really have anything on his to-do list except kill the survivor and protect that one main building generator, because hatch does not matter in DBD League. It does not matter if Cobj escapes given the last gen is not popped. So as long as we protect that one gen, we are pretty solid here, and we do spot Cobj out. This is going to be the last chase of the game. We are going to be tied at a 4K1, a very impressive tie. I was almost expecting them to get another gen popped here, but that locker grab, I think, stopped any dreams of a 4K0. And very good pallet drop, but unfortunate that it's the last chase of the game for our survivor team.
Honestly, if the other game were like any better from the survivors, like a smidge better, we're talking literally, could 5 more seconds have been bought, they probably would have got their win, to be perfectly honest. I think that the Pain survivors played the 3v1 better than the Sirenia survivors did, even though, to be honest, they both had a phenomenal 3v1. But the early game was unfortunately just a lot better for Severus, and now we are going to see that kill come out. Like, you remember that gen, which was literally like 2 seconds away from being completed, and these survivors just couldn't do it in time, and how they basically lost on account of that. You know, we do like to harp on the point a lot, but